What's good, Shadow Gang? Welcome back to another video. If y'all new here, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Follow me on my Instagram at Rick the Shadow. I always post when I drop a new video. Follow me as well as on my TikTok and Twitter. I did just start a Twitter. I'm not gonna post nothing on it too much. I'm just there to see what's trending and stuff like that. But follow it, cause sooner or later I will start posting contact in there and shit like that. But yeah, we're gonna react to tap out corner. Sorry. And we're gonna react to wrestlers who were obviously on steroids. Now, I don't know what wrestlers he's gonna be talking about. I know Jordan Grace is in the thumbnail. So let's see what wrestlers. Probably a lot of wrestlers from the 80s, I'm gonna assume. And what you call it? Oh yeah, I have a video coming out about the Vince McMahon documentary. I'm still working on it. It's halfway done, so stay tuned for that. I know I'm a little late because everybody already did like reviews and shit like that. But I decided to do something different. I had to rewatch it and all. I'm almost done with the video, so stay tuned for that. Maybe it'll come out in a few more days. And yeah, I may react to some other stuff too. So yeah, but check out the live streams I just did, especially with Black Couch. We did one. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's see what wrestlers were obviously on steroids and see what do I think about it, if I agree or disagree.
This is what Chris Masters looked like during his first run in WWE, and here's what he looked like 3 months later. I think we all know what was happening here. Triple H certainly knew.
So when are you gonna write a book?
That's funny. You know, as a matter of fact, I was thinking about writing a book on nutrition.
What are you gonna call it? How to lose 50 pounds in 4 weeks?
While not remembered as well due to his short WWE career, Ahmed Johnson had one of the best wrestling physiques, not just at the time, but of all time. This was due to Johnson's hard work in the gym and genetics, but also due to steroids. As Johnson himself has said, it was something that you had to do, basically, if you were going to stay up top. Just about all the boys were on it. This became more obvious after Johnson left WWE. In early 2000, Johnson debuted in WCW under the name Big T. Besides the name change, the other noticeable difference was Ahmed Johnson's physique.
He's still pretty
he wasn't
good shape,
as
though.
jacked as he was in WWE, and this became more apparent as his career continued. As time went on, Johnson lost his muscle mass and gained more weight until finally quitting the wrestling business. Today, Johnson is almost unrecognizable from when he was on steroids in WWE. Now this next one is really sad, and it shows how steroids can lead to a premature death. After spending several months toiling around in WCW, Eddie Guerrero made the jump to WWE. While Guerrero was in great shape, he was now in the land of the giants. Whether it was people backstage telling Eddie he needed to get bigger, or it was Guerrero himself that felt he needed to bulk up, is unknown. What is known is that Latino Heat began taking steroids once he arrived in WWE. Comparing his physique from when he debuted till before his death clearly shows just how much bigger he got. Making it even sadder is that Eddie Guerrero died almost 6 years after joining WWE due to an enlarged heart. While steroids weren't the sole reason for Eddie's passing, they did contribute to it. While it's more common for male wrestlers to use steroids, it's not unheard of for female wrestlers to use them too. While she hasn't stated that she uses steroids, fans have speculated that Jordan Grace uses performance.
She hasn't? She hasn't.
While she hasn't stated that she uses steroids, fans have speculated that Jordan Grace uses performance enhancers.
So here's the thing with her, right? There's a chance she might be in it, yeah. The thing is, how can I explain it? Like, for example, I seen pictures of her where she was bulking up. So, you know, she has been putting the work in. I'm not saying she's not, but there's a chance. I don't know. The way you can tell with the woman that's on steroid is like their breast becomes less like a woman breast, looks more like a male breast. That's one way, believe it or not. And their face too, you can tell by that, and their voices. And I have heard her talk, her voice a little rouse, you know, like little like that. So maybe that's a sign that she's on. I don't know. But who knows? Maybe she is. But if she is, I think she's in a cycle. I don't think she's every week, every day doing something. And you know, I don't know. I just don't think she's on it like that. I think she's probably on a cycle. So I think she does a routine. So.
Had a bigger build. Comparing her early days as a wrestler to what she looks like now is night and day. In addition to Grace's incredible transformation, fans have noticed something else about her that suggests she is
I think he's gonna talk about the boys, the breasts, or something. It's gotta be one of those.
And if it ain't you,
or pimples, believe it or not. Male or woman, you get pimples. So
on the juice.
Happy 9-year anniversary to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Here's to another incredible 9 years. I wish you guys nothing but the best.
So I've been on the road the past 2 weeks. I was in Orlando like Sunday through I think Friday, and then we flew to Vegas, and now I'm actually in San Francisco.
The change in Jordan Grayson's voice is another reason people speculate that Grace is using steroids, since increased testosterone levels can cause your voice to deepen. It's more noticeable on women since they don't produce as high of testosterone levels as men. From 2001 to 2005, Maven went from being a school teacher to a WWE wrestler as a result of winning the reality competition show Tough Enough. While Maven was in good shape, he revealed that he was encouraged backstage to use performance-enhancing drugs, and he followed that advice. In 2002, Maven was injured while wrestling a match and was gone for several months. When he returned, Maven was noticeably bigger. As he revealed on his YouTube channel, Maven used the assistance of steroids to bulk himself up.
I actually had one of the top officials come up to me, and he didn't outright say, hey, we're gonna need you to get on this. What he told me was, have you thought about talking to some of the boys about that creatine that they're on? I asked around, said, am I hearing what I think I'm hearing? They informed me, yes, you are. So at that point, I wanted to do the safest thing possible, but get the result they were looking for.
This becomes even more obvious when you compare Maven's appearance from his debut to his final years in WWE. Now, this next wrestler doesn't even look like the same person.
Oh, wow.
Certain old school wrestling fans will be very familiar with Dynamite Kid. He's considered by many to be one of the best wrestlers of all time and influenced a lot of wrestling talent that came after him, particularly Chris Benoit. Dynamite Kid had a phenomenal physique, thanks in part to steroids, which he was introduced to early in his career. One of the reasons Dynamite used steroids was to compensate for his small stature. Soon after, Dynamite Kid started getting opportunities with bigger companies and eventually wrestled for WWE. However, this use of performance-enhancing drugs almost gave him an early death. In 1991, a doctor informed Dynamite Kid he had an enlarged heart due to Dynamite's steroid use. The doctor warned him continued steroid use could kill him, and Dynamite Kid never touched the juice again. Dynamite still continued to wrestle though, however, he looked nothing like he did before.
Wow. Yeah, he lost all of it.
Now this wrestler has denied taking steroids, but he shows the signs of someone who is on the juice. The wrestler I'm talking about is Jinder Mahal. During Mahal's first run in WWE from 2011 to 2014, he was in good shape, but he wasn't anything special.
Batista did lose a lot of muscle mass, but that's good because he's still getting healthy. Like, I remember people being like, oh, is he okay? Is he okay? It's like, yo, just because a dude loses a lot of weight doesn't mean he's sick. Like, and plus this is Batista. If you follow Batista, he said it himself, he sees himself going on a full vegan diet. He wants to be a vegan. So I'm not surprised that he lost a lot of muscles. So, you know, if anything, if he feels healthier than ever, then yeah, go ahead. Especially, I heard that if he, now that he's lost all that weight, he gets movie roles that he really wants to get, because apparently he was too strong to get certain movie roles. So, which, imagine that. Imagine being too strong to get movie roles. So, shout out to you, Batista.
Special. That suddenly changed when he returned in 2016. The modern day Maharaja was completely shredded.
This is how you can tell. You see, like, so when women, the breast ends up looking like a man's breast when they work out. For men, they get extra tissue in the pecs. Like, for example, you can tell like this right here. Like, of course, Jinder has denied that he wasn't on steroids, but it's like he does shows the signs. And like right here, look, you can see the little, like, looks like it's melting, right? That's the best way I can describe it. But like, just like, look where my mouse is going. You can see the extra tissue. That is one way, and I did notice that because, again, I follow a lot of like fitness influencers, and they always talk about this stuff. So you can tell by, like, with men when they get extra tissue in their pecs and stuff. It's crazy.
And it completely transformed his body.
Right here's a better example. Look, it looks like a little bump too here. So yeah.
Well, Jinder no doubt worked hard to get his physique. Fans have pointed out that Mahal.
And here's even a better one right here. And the veins popping out too is another one. Like, of course, veins are gonna pop out regardless, but like, for his veins just to pop out already, and he's not really like doing anything, That's also a sign. You got to keep that in mind.
May have used some gear. His enlarged breast tissue could have been a sign of gynecomastia, a side effect of steroid use. Additionally, fans noticed acne and pimples on Jinder's body, which steroids can cause. Jinder Mahal's former 3MB tag team partner, Drew McIntyre, also underwent a phenomenal transformation. Like Jinder, Drew was in good shape during his first WWE run, but McIntyre bulked up a lot upon his return. This has led fans to speculate that the Scottish Warrior helped himself out by using steroids.
So, maybe he's on creatine? But I don't think he's on steroids. Just because he doesn't have the extra tissue in his breast. He doesn't have pimples. And his veins are not really popping out. I think he just... If he's on anything, it's probably creatine. But I don't think he's on anything else.
Steroids. But it's not just WWE wrestlers who have used steroids. The former chairman of WWE, Vince McMahon, has gotten in on the action too.
Oh, of course.
During the steroid trial of 1994, Vince McMahon admitted to using steroids before they were made illegal in 1990. Despite McMahon's claims, fans still wondered if McMahon was on the juice. Here's a good example. In 1998, Vince McMahon competed in his first wrestling match. Then, a little less than a year later, at the 1989 Royal Rumble, the WWE chairman looked like this.
Look at it right here. See how this one looks? It looks like it's melting more than this one. Homie was on it. And plus, listen, I'm not saying if you're old, you can't get in shape, obviously. But to get jacked, and by the way, this wasn't even him being the strongest. He ended up being the strongest later on. So he was definitely on that juice. Because if the older you get, the harder it is to get into the shape you really want to get to. That's why a lot of these guys start training in their late teens, early 20s. This dude, you can tell he was on it. Look, this shit's hanging lower than this one. Dude was on it.
Mr. McMahon became a McUnit. As mentioned, the enlarged breast tissue can be a side effect of steroid use, which fueled speculation.
And look,
McMahon was using
here he is bigger than ever. I think a few more years he ended up getting bigger. But yeah, look, see?
Drugs to help give him that amazing body. This next transformation was so shocking that people thought this wrestler...
Leave my boy Pac alone.
Things happen.
I mean... We don't know what he did, but I don't think so.
Had actually died. It's no secret that back in the 1980s, the majority of WWE wrestlers were on steroids. Well, probably not the healthiest thing, this was legal until 1990, when the Anabolic Steroid Control Act was passed. However, WWE and Vince McMahon were still accused of distributing steroids to their wrestlers, which led to the previously mentioned steroid trial of 1994. One of the biggest targets in the steroid case was Hulk Hogan. Despite having an unreal physique, the Hulkster denied that he used steroids.
So I watched the documentary. This is going to be on that video I have coming out soon. It's like, bro, the fact that Vince told him, hey, we all came out and said it. You as the top guy, as the face of the company, come out and say it so we can move past this. Bro didn't listen to Vince McMahon. He said, oh, I never did it. And then the whole shit happened. It's crazy, man. They could have avoided all of that, trial and all that, if Hogan would have just came out and said it. That's really crazy to think about it, man.
But I've trained 20 years, 2 hours a day to look like I do. But the things that I am not is I'm not a steroid abuser, and I do not use steroids.
However, after this, Hogan would take a nearly year-long absence from WWE. When he returned, the Hulkster was noticeably slimmed down. I guess he stopped eating his vitamins and saying his prayers. However, the needle in the steroid coffin came in court. Hulk Hogan had to testify, and he admitted that he did use steroids. Hogan wasn't the only WWE wrestler who had changed, though. In 1991, Ultimate Warrior abruptly left WWE after he and Vince McMahon got into arguments over money. The separation didn't last long, as Warrior returned at WrestleMania 8 about 7 months later. However, fans quickly noticed the Warrior had slimmed down, in addition to some other changes. Rumors started going around that the Ultimate Warrior had died, and the man who had returned was an imposter.
I heard rumor was that they thought the imposter was one of the Von Erich brothers. I forgot. I think it was the one that ended up going to WWE as Tornado. I think his name was in WWE. I forgot. It was one of the Von Erich's brother. He not the one that's still alive. It was the one that had the physique. It was like the big physique, like had the chin and everything. I forgot his name. But that people try to say like, oh, it was him who was pretending to be Warrior. That was crazy to think. Shit.
These ended up being false, and the smaller physique was likely due to Ultimate Warrior getting off steroids.
Of course.
Brian Cage is called the Machine, and for good reason. I mean, just look at him.
Yeah.
However, like all the wrestlers we've looked at, Cage's body looks a bit unnatural, and fans have questioned how Cage got all those muscles. Speculation was fueled even more when fans saw pictures and videos of Brian Cage from earlier in his wrestling career, saying it's an incredible transformation.
Yeah, that's true. It's amazing. Here's the thing. There's a chance he's on it. Yeah. Probably. But I will say this. Because he's so big, he 100% had to bulk up and not like get cut or lean. So he for sure had to bulk up more than get jacked or shredded or shit like that. He had to bulk up. So for him to be that big. Because, you know, steroids, they do a lot, but
is an understatement. Brian Cage hasn't said much about performance enhancers, so it's all speculation. Now, before diving into this next wrestler, he's never said he's taken steroids.
He got caught when he was in the UFC.
But there's evidence that suggests that he has. The man I'm talking about is the Game, Triple H. The King of Kane started bodybuilding at the age of 14, simply because he wanted to start looking like a wrestler. It definitely worked out for him, as Triple H's body was almost unmatched during the Attitude Era. However, questions about steroids quickly came up. Some evidence that Triple H could have been on the juice was seen live on TV. From late 2003 to mid 2004, Triple H noticeably had a less defined body. Around this time, Triple H had gotten married to Stephanie McMahon, and rumor has it that the two were trying to have a baby. Steroids affect a man's sperm production and fertility, so fans have speculated Triple H was off the gear.
He's still in pretty good shape, but you can tell the difference.
Leading to a change in his body. A backstage story also suggests that the King of Kings was on something. According to reports, when Scott Steiner arrived in WWE, officials asked him to take a drug test. Steiner said he would, as long as Triple H did too. Mysteriously, Steiner didn't get asked to take any more drug tests.
Say what?
Speaking of Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump has
Yep, he was on it. He was on it. That confirms it. Listen, if you ask a dude to take steroids and he says okay, and I understand why you asked Scott Steiner to take a steroid. Just look at them biceps. So I understand. But if he says yeah, as long as Triple H takes one, and you mean to tell me they're never going to like ask him, did he ever, like they're never gonna ask him to take a drug test again? Then yeah, homie was on that. But what the fuck happened here?
Has a massive scar on the side of his body. To find out how he got it, watch this video.
Oh, okay. Let me know if y'all want me to react to more of Tap Out Corner. I've been watching him for a while too, so I always watch him. I'm subscribed and everything. But let me know if you want me to react to him. But that's interesting. The Scott Steiner story. Like they asked him to do a drug test. He said as long as Triple H does one, and never again they asked him to do one. That's a little crazy. But that being said, though, there's a chance all of these guys were on steroids. It happens. Listen, let's be real. I'm not saying it's good to take steroids, but let's stop pretend like the best athletes did not perform at their best when they were on steroids. It's still not right, but that's how it is. You want that stuff, it helps you perform better. So yeah, but that's it for this reaction. Stay tuned with that Vince McMahon video, and I may react to something else. I have a video I want to react to. Is a non-wrestling one, but I think I might like it. Who knows? But yeah, I got more coming in the way, and yeah, stay tuned. Shadow out. Peace.